An initiative launched to help boost food security on the African continent by supporting the region's farmers went to the 54th World Economic Forum in search for partnerships. The Netherlands-based trade group IDH and local investment hub You Can Grow Africa have also set a target of slashing food imports by 20 billion rand annually, as Xolani Mbanjwa, Newzroom Afrika's business editor, sits down with IDH CEO Daan Wensing to speak more on this.
Here at the World Economic Forum is how Africa could become sustainable, and that is also one of the issues that African leaders look up to when they make these journeys to become self-sufficient into the future. IDH, a global firm, has come to the African continent and has come to South Africa where it is actually making sure and helping that farmers, local farmers, do not rely on food imports. Their goal is to make sure that at least 20 billion rand of food imports that were brought into Southern Africa do not come into Southern Africa, but the local farmers become self-sufficient. I caught up with the CEO of IDH last year, and this year we find him here at the 54th World Economic Forum, and he is Daan Wensing. Daan, thank you very much for your time. It is a pleasure to have you since we spoke in 2023 about your initiative bringing food sustainability to Southern Africa. Remind us once again what you actually do in terms of the support that you are bringing to Southern African countries and farmers to make food systems alliance reliable.
Well, first of all, it's great to meet you, and I think that also shows the power of all of us traveling here into the snow, into the mountains, because you just run into each other and you can catch up on what you discussed, for example, the year before. And as IDH, indeed a global organization working to transform markets for sustainable agriculture and very much in support of smallholder farmers, especially on the African continent, it is really important to be here, because together with our partners, government and private sector, here at the World Economic Forum we can discuss how to progress it. And what we're using as an example here of, not just ambition but really action is the Southern Africa Food Systems Alliance. It is an alliance of companies at the market end, brands, but also manufacturers, but also the ones, SMEs, facing directly with the smallholders, primarily in South Africa, but also in the neighboring countries. And they are looking at, okay, how indeed can we make sure that all the food that is required in Southern Africa is actually produced and sourced from Southern Africa. And that is the big, bold ambition that this alliance has.
Let's talk about your experience here. Other business leaders in South Africa have said about an environment, an enabling environment. Tell us just in a short, brief statement, how successful has the launch been? It's been a couple of months. How far are you in realizing some of your targets in making those food systems sustainable through the support of smallhold farmers?
Yes. Now, I think one of the big things is, of course, that if you launch something, there's a big splash, there is a lot of attention, but you have to turn that into action. So over the last couple of months, we have been working first on a needs assessment. So we've been talking to farmers and to SMEs. What do they really need to transform the food system? Secondly, based on that needs assessment and on the needs of the alliance partners, we've been looking at, okay, what is that strategy to then actually deliver on it, right? Smart targets, and not only long-term targets, but also short-term targets. Thirdly, we've been identifying the first projects of the alliance, and these are now shaping up in 2024 in the Western Cape, the Southern Cape, and the Eastern Cape. And they basically cover grains and other agricultural produce. So it's not only the talking, it's really the walking. And finally, the progress has been made on resource mobilization. We are now creating a seed capital facility in South Africa, and we're talking to many of the national and international banks to really invest in this food system transformation.
Daan, thank you very much for your time here. There was Daan Wensing, the CEO of IDH, talking about the work that they are doing in South Africa and Southern Africa in particular when it comes to supporting local smallholder farmers be able to produce enough food in order to stop at least 20 billion rand of food imports from coming into Southern Africa. From Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Xolani Mbanjwa in Davos, Switzerland.